Hello everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Ethereum has not been able to get to the next high level that we're watching right around this 857, holding below it. Very weak first cross. So this is not exhibiting a lot of strength, and it can't even get back to the 50-day or 50 period exponential moving average on the 4-hour chart. So that's a 4-hour, I misspoke there. What we're going to be watching for now is if this breaks below the 783 level. If it does, then we'll be watching for a return to 740 as the first level, then 707, and then major cluster 671 if none of those hold up. If it does rally, next major area still is 858, and then we'll be watching for a return to 915. But let's check in on the daily chart. At least if you haven't yet and you purchased anything down here or used like some type of divergent setup or anything else, this is a very key area to move your stop up. The 8's now come down. It's major resistance right around this 848 area, and it hasn't been able to push up to that key GAN level, which is showing some weakness. You also see on the daily, we have the 50 period exponential moving average on the daily coming in right at this 915, so that's going to be major resistance if it can poke into the rotation zone. But if this weakness persists, watch for a slightly bigger pullback and be patient. That's why move up your stops if it can't get through this level, which it hasn't been able to. So you're not giving a lot back, because if we get a bigger dip, you're better to add back on another reversal pattern. Switching over to Monero. Monero hit our key levels. Let me try to zoom in a bit here. There we go. Hit the key levels and the 50 as we talked about. Right around that 228, 229, resistance. Finally, the pullback got the first cross rotation zone. Those levels are now done. Then what we did is a projection from the lows back to that high, because we got a nice little pullback with the next key levels. And look at this, rallied up, paused at the 241 level, then pretty much closed at this 251.90 level, the exact close, 253, poking up briefly to 255, now pulling back. We can update these levels now to come up to here. We'll want to do that one. Plus, just on the length of this move, we want to come from these lows. We want to come, if it will let me, from those lows to this high and see if we have any cluster. For some reason, my GAN tool keeps changing. Okay, so look at this. On the next push higher, minor level is 261.71. Next major level is 268. And then we'd be watching for this cluster before, which comes in about 278 before we get to the 281. So 278 is the next major target. Now, this is getting a little extended. We have updated our Fibonacci retracement levels. Major cluster is coming in right about this 228, 229 again on a pullback. That would be 25% pullback and an old 625 GAN level. So that gives us a really nice cluster right in the middle of the rotation zone. You're really going to watch this 231 because of the flat 50 period exponential also. So I'd say 229 to 231, watching for a pullback and then a rotation back higher. If that doesn't hold, then the prior breakout zone where this 21 will rise to about 224. What we don't want, again, on these is a close below the rotation zone, because then we'd be watching for the bigger pullback. Then we'd be targeting the 202 and then the 189. No major divergences yet to the upside, so Monero's looking really good right now. We're just going to watch for that pullback in the rotation zone and a rotation back up. Looking at Monero on a daily chart, on the next push higher, this major cluster 268 is coming in right below the 21 declining rotation zone. So watch for that area. That is going to be very key. If it does take longer and this dips below that level, you're going to have to adjust these levels slightly down below with the 21 where it is, but that's going to be some pretty major resistance. Normally when we get the other side of the rotation zone, we do get a nice rotation, nice pullback, and then we'll update the levels and watch for where that does pull back. So keep watching for that. Don't just ignore that 21 on the daily. Switching over to Ripple. Ripple looking very, very weak here. No divergence here, but it is looking weak. It hasn't even been able to get above the 50% retracement level from this last sell-off, and it's just gone into consolidation. Rotation zone's flat, so it's essentially forming a very sloppy horizontal channel. We'll be watching for the first support. Why is that still there? Let me update that. Sorry about that. We'll be watching for the first support should this break down right around 0.6894. That's key if we break below this first little 0.7158. On a rally up, if it finally does get out of this, but it again is looking rather weak, one of the weaker ones, we'll be watching for a return to 0.8352. We have the declining 4-hour 50-period exponential moving average is going to converge with about that level, so about 0.83 to 0.84 on the next move higher. What we don't want, if it does pull back, is a close below 0.66. That would be bad, and then we'd be looking for a retest of the lows. So let's check in on the daily chart. Daily chart, again, need to expand this so we can see it. Daily chart, holding it, hasn't even been able to push the 8, and that 8 EMA is also coming into this 0.835. Really pay attention if this just keeps holding. If the 8 does drop down to around this 0.70, 0.80, we could get 8 pushing the price back down in Ripple. So again, Ripple not looking that strong. So if you did any bottom picking buying here, or like divergence buying or any other pattern you have, move up your stop and make sure you don't turn something that has some profit in it into a loser based off this potential weakness in Ripple. That's what we have for you on Ethereum, Monero, and Ripple, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Bye for now.